Today we're making some witchy decor DIYs and more. Keep watching. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. So the first is going to be a skull arrangement. This is from the Dollar Tree Plus section. It was $3. You can get these in a variety of colors, but this inspired me to make this video. Foam block. Some of these picks from Dollar Tree. They are purple and black, a variety of purple flowers and blue flowers. This is called witch hazel. You can use as many or as little as you like. And then this is just some that I got when I was thrifting. It's got a bluish tone and I like that. These I recently got from a friend who donated a bunch of stuff to me. You can use deco mesh or you can use some tulle. I'm just going to go ahead and shave this down a little bit so that it fits nicely into the shape of the skull, into that opening. And then all the little pieces that I cut off, I will push down into the extra spaces there so that it fits tightly in here without me having to worry about gluing anything in place, and it won't fall over and make a big mess. You can use any scraps to do this, or you can use tissue paper or plastic bags, whatever you need to secure that. These are just little hummingbird ornaments, and they're so pretty, and the coloring is that same beautiful sort of iridescent, what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Holographic. Ugh, it's just beautiful. Everything just looks so great together. So this is going to be kind of fantasy-like with these colors. These are not traditional Halloween type colors, but you know, I think they're going to look really, really good. I'll cut all of the picks apart. And then I'll start putting these in the foam. Now I'm going to make, I'm going to put 5 in, so 1 in each corner and the tallest one in the middle. The ones on the outside edges will do it a little bit of an angle so that we have sort of a mounded or rounded arrangement. This is going to be rather symmetrical. Very easy arrangement to do if you're not used to doing floral arrangements. Now I don't have any training for this. This is just my own way of doing it. If you know a different way, then you go ahead and do it your way. The idea is to put all these beautiful blues and purples into this skull, this plastic skull, which is adorable, by the way. He's got his little hands on his head. You know, he's cute. Almost looks like if he had lips, he'd be smiling. He's smiling through his teeth. Okay, so then I'll do the same thing here with these. You know, put them off, and then I'll put 2 in the top. Put them off, you know, in the sections in between the purple flowers. You can see how it's sort of rounded. If you don't want the green leaves in there, pull them off the stem. I like what it does for the arrangement, so I'm going to leave it. You can see the shape. I'm going to turn it side to side and move anything down to keep that same little domed shape. And then I'll just start adding in the rest of my florals. I like to add 1 in at a time if I can. 1 different type at a time if I can, so that I get them spaced out evenly so that from all the angles you can see a little bit of each one if you're doing a symmetrical arrangement. So I had 4 or 5 of these witch hazel pieces, so I'm just going to add these here and there. And you can get that witch hazel if you like the look of that, which by the way I love it. You can get it in pink and coral and green. I've never seen it in white or black, but it would be nice if we could get it in black, or red would be really pretty too. Then I'm going to take my greenery pieces last and fill in around the bottom and in the top because I don't want to be seeing any of that foam. Now I chose the bluish tinted, when I say blue, greens can be warm, neutral, or they can be cool toned, right? Just like most colors can be. I want this to be cool toned because the blues and the purples in here are cool toned. So that's why I chose these colors. I think they look really, the undertones of that blue looks really good with the blue and purple. But you can do, of course, whatever you like, you know. You're going to make it your own, right? This is just to give you inspiration. I'm not saying that you have to do it exactly like me. All right, now these little picks are short. They're not quite long enough, but we're going to extend them so we can use them in this arrangement to make it a bit taller. We want this really to be something that stands out. So all you have to do is either grab some floral picks that you have left over, or if you have some of these wooden dowels, you can use those. I like to cut mine at an angle on the bottom so that it easily pierces through the foam and you're not struggling. You know, make it easier where you can. I'm using floral tape. This is a waxed type material. You have to pull on it and then it will stick to itself. It kind of releases the gumminess or the tackiness and it will stick to itself. Just adding a little tension as you roll, kind of pulling as you roll it. It'll hold everything in place. Plus, it won't show that line between the black and the lighter color of that stick. It'll all look like it was supposed to be made that way. And the rest of that little wooden stick will be down in the arrangement and you'll never even see it. See, it can break when you're putting tension on it, but that is not a big deal. You just start over and you keep going. I don't recommend doing this with hot glue. This is just the easiest way for me to do it and to show you how to do it. And I think you can get floral tape probably at Dollar Tree. I usually find mine when I'm thrifting at the Goodwill bins. Alright, so once I get that stick covered up and I feel like it's really secure and we can kind of tug on it and move it around in the arrangement, you just pull it right off. You don't even have to cut it. And then we'll start putting it down where we like it in the arrangement. Look how pretty those colors all look together. That's really pretty. I've done purple before, but never like I don't think I've ever done like a purple and blue and black together, but I really like it. It's different. It's kind of magical. It's a little whimsical on the side of Witchy Decor, I think. Really cute. But I don't exactly like the arrangement of those picks, so we're going to change it up in a minute. Now these fit nicely if I stick the little beak straight down in the ball. So I was trying to figure out a way to put them on there without having to put a hole in them and put a stake in them. And this way it actually looks like they're floating there. So I just put the beak down and then I put the tail where it looks like it's hovering right above another one of those little, that's not glitter on those little balls. It's actually like little round, I don't know how to explain that. Confetti type stuff, I guess. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but we're not going to make it symmetrical. We're going to do it a little bit lower. A little bit of glue on that beak, just a little. I don't want to make a big mess. And then poke it in there. And then have its little bottom sitting down in that witch hazel that's underneath it. I like to do my arranging from above. It's just easier for where my camera is. Excuse me. And it's easier for me to record this way. And I think for you looking down at an arrangement, it should make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. But I always show you as I go along. Now, I decided to trash that dang old deco mesh because it was in terrible condition. And I just stacked up 2 pieces of the tulle. I'm using about a 4-inch piece of scrap paper here, and I'm going to fold it over 6 times. Now, I did it 6 times the first time, and the rest of the times I did it like 4 times. So, and that gave me exactly enough. So maybe if you do 4 all the way through and do 4 of these 4 times. Okay, so now I've got the end and the end where I started it and the end where I ended it, or the beginning and the end, in the same area. So you can see it's darker there. You want to tie your piece of jute right where they are overlapping. If you don't, you're going to have it's going to come undone. So you have to catch the end and the start. I know that sounds so confusing, but you get what I'm saying, right? You lock it all in there. You're going to tie it tightly in the middle, and then you can pull it out so that the jute's on one side and you got your bubble there, and then cut through the little bubble. You know, pull it down, and then you can fluff it out. If you want to leave it just fluffed out this way, you can certainly do that, or you can grab them up and cut into the ends, and that will kind of fray it out just a little bit. Now you can use, like here, you can see I'm using a leftover stem for some greenery. The greenery we just put into the arrangement. I'm going to tie it tightly underneath the thick part of it. I don't even have to use glue, and now we have something to push this down into our arrangement. This piece, as well as the other 4 pieces we're going to make, will go around the bottom of that arrangement. So now I'm just cutting into it, just straight down into it to make it look kind of shaggy and raggedy and not have any definitive edging in it. So it just looks a little more ethereal. Okay. And then I'll just start right above the front center of the face or the skull. Put it right down in there and then fluff it out and pull it out. And I'll show you what that looks like. Very easy to do. And this is how it is going to look once you get it down in there. Try to get that stem flush, you can see. And then we're going to do it here, here, and here. Okay, so there it is with all of that tulle. Ugh, so cute. And that's when I decided, you know what? I don't like this part being symmetrical. So I cut off the tallest piece so that my hummingbird would be, you know, more of a focal point on that side. And then I'm testing out where do I want to put it because I know I want to use it still. So I'm going to put it over here on the other side by the other hummingbird. And then these are on a wire, so you can just kind of turn them and twist them whichever direction you like them. And I like that much better. I think it balances the top better with the positions of those beautiful, beautiful, magical hummingbirds. What do y'all think about the colors? I think this is so different and unique. The next project is a witch's hat. Oh, I hope y'all like this one. All right, so these are scraps. This is just some purple, again, greenery. I've got some of these blue little flocked balls. I have some, this says fall grass, in purples and violets and indigo colors. That's what we're going with, right? And then also black. These are little scrap pieces that I had. It's got some glitter. And then these are from little Temu posters. And these are my branches from Temu. Love them. Okay, so here's my hat that I got at the thrift store. This is actually a hobbit hat. And it isn't hollow all the way up to the top. Then this is a round sign from Dollar Tree. And I've got some batting. Or you can cut open an old pillow. Now, see, the top of this hat actually fits onto your head, and then it's supposed to look kind of slouchy, but I don't want to do that. I want mine to look a little more upright, so I've got to cut this lining out so that I can stuff this in a way that it's going to stand up. That's what I like. I still like the little wire in the end. We're still going to have a little curl on the end, but we definitely got to stuff it full so it can, you know, hold its shape. So now I'm just pulling that sheet of batting part, and then I'm going to shred it with my hands, just shredding, 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 pulling all of the shape out of it. I want it to be like a cloud, just fluffy, fluffy, fluffy everywhere. No thick edges. I'll start by just pushing a little bit up into the tip of the hat, or right up to the tip of the hat to start the shape. It just takes a little bit of patience, y'all, and you need to kind of maneuver it around with your hands on the inside and the outside of the hat so that you get that conical shape that you need without a bunch of bulging and bumps. You want it to look high end, right? We always strive for that high end look. We don't want anything to look cheap and like we just barely put any effort into it. Okay, so once you get it as fluffy as you like, make sure that it can stand on its own. And that's what I'm doing here. I am going to, since my hat has sort of a irregular brim, I decided that maybe stacking it just a little bit would help that shape conform and stick down to this sign. So I'm just using a couple of pieces of foam and my double stick tape or my nano tape. You can see how strong that holds. And I'm going to layer a couple of pieces on there until I get it, you know, where I feel like it will stay. I didn't use the hot glue because it will melt through the plastic and the foam and likely come off. And then be sure you drop your glue gun because that's a very important step. You can't miss that step. Good grief. All right, so then we're going to put the hot glue on that. It doesn't have to be directly center, but it has to be to the point where it can support your hat. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to make it grab down, and then I'll flip it over. And you can see mine's not exactly the center. Are we going to stress about it? We're not. Okay. Now where I can get the tip of the glue gun in, I'm just going to add some more just to be sure that it is secure down on there. And this is actually a round that I had and I used for a different craft. That's why you see the blue and white on there. That's the only reason. That's fabric that is Mod Podge down. Use it for a spring craft. So I do use a lot of my stuff over. Okay, now it's going to stand up on its own. Okay, now we're going to put florals on here. If you saw my candy corn witch's wreath, you already know what I'm doing here. If not, I'll tell you. Little pick here is going to hold these two pieces together. It's just going to give it some strength while I grab a little bit of the masking tape that I have. It is like a white masking tape / painter's tape, something like that. It wasn't labeled when I found it, so I can't be completely sure, but just use some tape. I wouldn't recommend duct tape because if you're getting florals in there, it's very hard to poke a stem through the duct tape. So you want something you can pierce through. What I'm trying to do here is make essentially a wreath form that will fit around the hat, or a hat bat. A hat bat? A foam hat band. Grief. I'm going batty. Yeah. To go around the place where a hat band would be. Okay? But that didn't make sense because, it didn't make sense to me either. Now you can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right. Yes. Logic is back in the picture. Okay, now we're going to make sure that we cut all of our pieces apart like we always do. Trim everything down. You can start by leaving your limbs or your stems a little bit longer, and then as you're putting your arrangement together, you can trim what needs to be trimmed. I'm going to take these beautiful picks. I'm going to pierce them with the end, and then I will take some of these floral pins and put them into that foam. If you do it in an angle, it will really hold it in place well. In my opinion, it works really well for me to do it that way. And then you're going to overlap the top of the next piece over the end of the other piece. And you're going to go all the way around. So what if you don't have this greenery? Then use a different type of greenery. Whatever you want. The idea is to cover up the band and make this hat look nice and lush. Like a lot of greenery in my stuff. Okay, so talking about the budget-friendly stuff, this is Dollar Tree and thrifted pieces. If you're buying all of your stuff and you don't want to use as much, you definitely don't have to. Just so what you could do to take the place would be get something that is very full. You could actually use the colored leaves or something here if you wanted to, like the fall leaves if you wanted to, and put those around here. They would really cover that up and take up a lot of space, so you could save a little money by doing it that way if you like. I always try to remind y'all when people are like, well, that's really not budget friendly with as much as you put on there. Well, it all depends on your personal budget, really, and where you get your stuff from. If you get all of your materials very, very cheaply, then that is budget friendly. And if you put a ton of stuff on here at a budget friendly price, you're not going to go in a store and buy the same nice, lush, and full piece if you're on a budget. I promise you're not going to. I've seen prices of stuff. I've seen in craft shows what people charge, and I understand it. I get it. They work hard. People work hard on the things that they make, and I get that. I understand it totally. All right, so then I thought we've got to put these beautiful pieces in here, and what better place than just around the band? So I'm just going in at an angle, going in with the same circular shape as we put in the beautiful little flowers, and I guess we could just call that heather. It looks a little bit like heather, but I don't know. You decide. What do you think that is? Those little green pieces, or the purple and green pieces. I think they're very pretty. But I'm going to keep going in at an angle. You don't want to go straight in with these picks anyway, because it'll go all the way through that foam and into the hat, and it's kind of hard to push it through your fabric, and then you have stuff that may fall out. You put it in sideways, it kind of locks it into place a little better. And these Temu picks that I'm using, these black ones, this is not a sponsored video, y'all know that. But they have like little serrated edges you can see over there in the right corner, so when you push them through, the wire part pushes through, that actually holds it into the foam, which is very nice. All right, so now that we've got the bottom or the hat band done, we're going to start adding to the top of the hat. I don't want anything to be taller than the top of the hat. You see how I've got that little curl in the top, how I shaped it by hand, because it already had a piece of wire in there, and I thought, oh, we're going to go with this. I love that. It's a nice piece. It's a nice focal point, and we're going to do something special with that. So you know. And by the way, y'all, I just wanted to just say thank y'all for understanding. I had a little hitching my giddy up this week, so I wasn't able to get Monday's video out, and I'm putting out videos a little bit later this week than I normally do. It has been ages since I've had anything like this to happen, but hopefully you'll forgive me for that, and I'll be back on schedule, and I'll be sure not to let things like this happen anymore. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So I hope I can make up for it by giving you these 3 projects today that I worked really hard on, and they're unique and different. And yeah, I just appreciate y'all, and I appreciate you being here. And I don't like disappointing anybody. When I say I'm going to do something, I'd like to be known for keeping my word. And the fact that I couldn't stay on schedule really bothered me. Yeah, but you know, it is what it is. We're human, right? We do things. We're going to fall. We're going to make mistakes, and we're going to learn from those mistakes. So we are moving on. And yeah, the next video that I do will actually probably be Friday. Maybe tomorrow if I can get it done, but I don't know. It takes quite a bit of work to get a video idea produced, edited, the voiceover uploaded, and all of that. So we'll see. But I am working for y'all. I'm working very hard for y'all. So okie dokie. So you can see what I'm doing here. You know, I like to do it from above, like I mentioned with the other arrangement, and then I'm going to show you from time to time the progress that we're making. I'll lift up the hat and show you what we got going on here. I love that there is a huge variety. It just looks like wildflowers, like it would be in a garden. You know, like some of these could be herbs, and just, I love it. I love the fact that these cone flowers look mysterious and magical. And then, of course, we're going to be adding some of these picks too. There's actually 3 of these picks with the purple and the black. So we're going to add those in different places. You can cut these picks apart and really stretch them out if you want to as well. You can wind your flowers through it and, you know, give it a little more dimension, and you can see me doing that there. I'm just kind of weaving it in and out of the things that are around it. Again, make this your own. Do what is going to bring you joy. If you don't like this color theme, say maybe you just cannot stand purple, or you think the blue looks ridiculous, you know what? You don't have to even tell me. Just go ahead and use something different. You could use orange and black. You could do candy corn. You could do those colors if you wanted to. You can do it in gold and red. You know, you do what makes you happy, and it's going to be the right thing for you, right? It's all about crafting and getting that joy from it and feeling that sense of accomplishment. You did it yourself. You did it on your own, and you love it exactly how it is. Always want to encourage y'all to do that. That's so important. Again, the greenery has that bluish tone, or the cool tone, which I like with this. I like it a lot. And let's just say, okay, if this looks spring or summery to you, then just look at it this way. Witches are magical, right? If they want to have their springtime greenery in the fall, they can have their springtime greenery in the fall, right? They got green thumbs. They have a little herb garden in their house. They have little English gardens in their yard, or witchy gardens in their yard, and they're growing their own stuff. So, and heck, they have magic. They can grow anything they want whenever they want, right? That's right. I love how this breaks it up a little bit, and I love how it gives it another element of softness, and it just looks magical to me, y'all. It's just magical to me. And I really hope that you like this one as well. I used to really enjoy doing the wreath forms from Dollar Tree, but the 3-dimensional stuff is so much more fun for me personally. I still have videos that have those other forms, and if I feel the inspiration, I'll definitely make more with those forms, because I do have some here. But right now, I'm really loving these hats. Really, really loving these dimensional hats. What a beautiful centerpiece this would be. Okay, so these are on wire too, so I can just pierce them straight down into that little foam hat band that we made, or you can use a little hot glue if you want to cut them into pieces. You've seen me do it both ways here. Look at this. And you know, one of the best parts is I'm using up materials that I had left over from spring and summer in this hat. I don't want to waste anything. I save stuff, I can use it for something else. But look how pretty this is. I really like this. I hope you like it as much as me because I really like it. Now these little rings that I told y'all is my favorite little Dollar Tree Halloween item. I cut the ring off the back and I'm going to find a way to attach this to this hat tip. And I decided I'm going to use a pin, just a sewing needle. I'm going to add some hot glue, stick it on the back. I'm going to add hot glue to the pokey part or the needle part. Carefully stick it into the end of the hat. Let that set up for a minute. And once it is dry, look! Looks like a little silver string hanging down, like he's just hanging by a little string. Oh, I love it. The next one is a fairy pumpkin. Okay, y'all, we're sticking with those same colors. It's a little pumpkin that I have. I've got 2 different shades of purple. One is a color shift. 2 different shades of like a teal color. One is a color shift. This is a Timu fairy that I have had for a while. I'm going to use a little block or foam or something to help with putting this together. Some more of that beautiful heather in quotations. Yes, I did air quotes, like y'all could see that. And then some fine point little brushes. I've got some of these little papers that you can use. I just wanted to show y'all. There are 100 in here if you want to use this for when you're painting. Okay, so her dress is already purple. I like that. I like that her skin is kind of a gray color. I'm going to lighten it up just a little. I'm going to go over my fairy. If you don't want to do this on yours, you certainly don't have to. But I'm going to go over her and repaint and touch up because that's just how I like to do it. It brings me joy to do that. All right, so once the purple is done and dry, I'm going to go over, as you see, I chose like a silvery white color to paint her skin because she is a magical fairy and she is shimmery and beautiful. I'm going to use some of this glorious gold to paint her hair. I'll use that teal on the wings. Teal, aqua, whatever color you can see there on the bottle. I'm not wearing my glasses. Inside and outside of those wings. And then I want to show you what you can do if you don't have the colors you need for your pumpkin. You don't have this pumpkin. So get a black pumpkin or a regular pumpkin and paint it black with your chalk paint. Let it completely dry. Then you're going to grab some color shift paint or teal and purple if you don't have, you know, any special paint like I've got. And you're just going to sort of dry brush it all over your pumpkin. You're going to dry brush one color, completely let that dry, and then you're going to put your next color on. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? And actually, when I was doing this for y'all, just like to show you an example of how you can sort of mimic and get this look, I thought, wow, once it finished, it really looked even better. Okay, so I did a little special on her wings, a little more purple color shift toward her body, and then I dry brushed the color shift purple over the wings so it would catch on all the little veining there. Making sure everything dries, I took the color shift in the purple and put it on top of all the purple on her dress and her body and let that dry. If I left all of that in the video, y'all, the video would be 1.5 hours, probably 2 hours long. So do what you will with those. If there's ever a time where you really want to see me just do some detailed painting, let me know in the comments and I'll try to do that for y'all. If you really want that. If not, you know how to paint yourself, then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so the last part of me putting the paint on this pumpkin is going to be that gold that I had in her hair. I'm going to add that on here too. And again, just dry brushing, letting it dry in between. But I like that it's got that streaky look. Okay, so she's going to need a platform. She is a heavy resin and that pumpkin is very light. So I decided to attach it all down to a candlestick. This is a candlestick from Dollar Tree. I'm using black chalk paint. I'm going to let it dry. And the same technique that I used on the pumpkin, I will be using on this little candle stand. Once everything is dry, we will glue that pumpkin to the stand. Everything is secure. She has been glued onto the top of the pumpkin on her behind and under her knees. She fits perfectly there. But you can use foam or little wood pieces to block and to hold her up if that's what you need to do on your pumpkin. Depends on your size, really. Then I'm going to take some of that greenery and put around the top of the pumpkin and under where she's sitting. This is going to help disguise the places where there is some glue, of course, and it just looks like she's sitting in a little flower bed. I'm just going to add a few pieces here and there. You could certainly use that fall grass or whatever it was called that has the little pinkish purple flowers. You could use something like that. You could put a leaf underneath her if you wanted to do a different, color or whatever. Certainly. But I like the idea. This is carrying it through so that all three of our pieces look similar and that they could all be used together. Just tucking those little stems here and there, cutting off the thick part of it where it attaches to the limb so that it isn't so bulky. And I'll just put them here and there, like I said. And then I'm going to work on her crown. I'd really like to add these pieces up there to that little floral crown that she has for more detail, and I just think it will give it a little more of an earthy look. And I would think that a fairy would have, an actual flower crown on her head. And look how pretty that looks. She's sitting on the flowers and she's picked herself a little crown. Her wings are iridescent and just beautiful. I'm going to take one of these rings apart, put her to the side, and then we'll take this little gem out of the middle. I'm going to add some hot glue in the middle of that flower she's holding, and then pop that down right in there, and it fits perfectly. They also have the orange spiders, so if you did a different color, you could do orange if you wanted to. But look how pretty. I think this is a really pretty piece too. Again, magical and mysterious and otherworldly and just charming. She's just a beautiful, beautiful little fairy. Love her. Love her very much. Here are those 3 projects that we did today. I want to thank all of my channel members. There are 16 of us now, and I am very happy to have you here. You are welcome. Subscribers, you are very, very well loved and thought of here as well. And if you're a new viewer, I would love it very much if you would give my video a thumbs up. If you enjoyed it, it helps me know what kind of materials that you like so I can keep giving back to you what you're interested in. If you could share the video, it'll help other people find my channel. And if you would like to subscribe, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Remember, next month in November is Subscriber Appreciation Month on my channel, so be sure that you hit the little bell so that you get all notifications of giveaways and informations on who has won and such. I would love to know which one of these you like the best, and if you think that you're going to be trying one of these, I would love it if you could email me. My information's in the description box, or you can let me know on Instagram. I would love to see your interpretation of these. I thank you so very much for stopping by today and spending your time with me, and I will see you in a few days. Bye!